Okay, so for our class today, I'll be teaching you when you should use the plus minus sign over here. Now let's just say I have this equation over here and I would like to work out all the possible values of x that will make this equation true. So what can I do over here? Now if you notice this equation, you might notice that is the difference of square, and we know how to deal with difference of square, right? Now let's factorize this to find out the value of x. So you should get two brackets here, and that will be equal to 0. Okay, one of the bracket is plus, one of them is minus. I should get x here, and I should get 2 over here, right? Now that's how we factorize difference of square. Now with this right now, we can say x plus 2 is equals to 0, or I can say x minus 2 is equals to 0. So x over here, that's going to equals to negative 2, or x over here is going to be 2. So what am I trying to show you over here? That there are two values of x that can make this equation true. Alright, so to make this simple, alright, to simplify this, I can write x over here can be equals to plus minus 2. Alright, now this plus minus 2 over here basically is telling you that x over here can be positive 2 or negative 2. Alright, this way of writing it is just a simplified way of writing this out. Okay. Now, okay, so that is the introduction of the plus minus sign. But let's just say you would like to, solve this question without completing the square, right? You would like to solve this by moving the 4 over here and square root, right? So let's see, let me do this question again. So let's just say I have x squared over here minus 4, and that will be equals to 0. Now, if I do not want to complete the square, to use difference of square, I can just simply write x squared is gonna equals to 4, right? By right, all you can do right now is to square root 4, right? And square root 4 should give you the answer of 2 over here, right? But we have already did over here from the difference of square, the answer can be either positive or negative 2. So what does it mean over here? What does it mean over here? So by right, we should add a plus minus sign over here and a plus minus sign over here. Okay? So that will make the answers equal right now. So with this, I can make a simple note over here. Alright, I can make a simple note over here. It's whenever I were to square root a number, I should add a plus minus sign over there. Okay, so I'm gonna write here, add the plus minus sign when you square root. When you square root, let me just put in this form a number. Okay, so always remember, when you add the plus minus sign, when you add the plus minus sign is when you are square rooting a particular number. Okay, now same thing, let's take a look at this example over here. So if I would like to find all possible values of x that will make this equation true, so what's going to happen over here? So x is going to be a square root of 25, but let's not forget about this rule, because I'm square rooting, I should add plus and minus over there, and true enough, my answer, they should give me plus minus 25. Now you can always check back if this answer is correct. Now we can always take positive 5, square it, indeed I will get 25. And same thing, if I take negative 5 and square it, I will get 25 as well. Always remember, whenever you take a negative number and you square it, you will always get back a positive number. But I would like to write a common mistake that students will always do with their calculator. It's usually they will put their calculator like this. Now this is not the same as writing like this. Okay, please make sure you know the difference. If you work out this, you will get negative 25. If you work out this, you will get positive 25. If you are using your calculator, this is the right way of doing. This is gonna be the wrong way of doing it. Okay? But to make this into a simple perspective, when you see a negative number and you square it, you will always get a positive number. Alright? Now you might be wondering, how come that you have been dealing with square root for quite some times already, but how come you will not introduce to this plus minus sign when you are dealing with shapes? Like for example, I can use back this example. Let's just say I have a square, a square has 4 equal sides, and I will name the side x over here. And let's just say this square has an area of 25 centimeters square. Okay? What are the values? What is the length of the square? So by right, you will work this out the same way as this, correct or not? So you work this out by writing x squared, that's going to equals to 25. And by right, you should get plus minus square root of 25. That will give you plus minus 25. It's going to be exactly the same. But the thing is, whenever you were to, do this type of question, your teacher will not tell you the plus minus. Instead, they will just tell you directly that your answer will be 5 only. Alright, the length of the square is 5 centimeters in this case. Try to think with me. Now, why wasn't you being introduced to this plus minus sign early on? Now, the reason is, for a shape, we cannot have a negative length for the shape. Alright? That is why when we were to do this type of question, when we square root the area, we will only accept, we will only accept the positive answer, because there's no way that we can measure this and tell that, oh, this is negative 5 centimeters, because that just does not make any sense. Okay? So I will make a note over here again. Alright, I can safely say you can ignore the plus minus sign when you deal with shapes. Okay? Now, whenever you are dealing with shapes, you can just ignore the plus minus sign. You only accept the positive answer over here. Okay? Right, let's move on to the next one. Now, I already make this note over here. When we are square rooting a number, we will always add the plus minus. Now, is this going to be true? Alright, is this going to be true for every single number over here? Alright, now what about if I were to cube root? Will there be a plus minus? Alright, now let's just say you are not sure. We can always prove it. We can always test it out. Now let's just say, for now, we say that even when you cube root, there's a plus minus. Let's see what's going to happen. So over here, I will have x that's going to equals to cube root of 27. And let's just say I have my plus and minus there. So x is going to be equals to plus minus 3. Okay? Now, we can check if this is correct or not. Alright, let's quickly just check, because if this is true, the positive and the negative answer, when we substitute over here, will give me 27. Now let's check. So 3 if we cube it, the positive 3, if we cube it, true enough, I will get 27. But what about the negative part? Now, negative 3, when you cube it, when you compute this in your calculator, you should get negative 27. Alright? It's not 27. So by right, what does this tells you? What does this tells you? It tells you that when you are cube rooting, when you cube root, alright, like in this case, there will be no plus and minus, alright? So we can, over here, we have checked, when we cube root, there will be no plus and minus, alright? I have already shown you over here, okay? So when you cube root a particular number, there will be only a positive answer, alright? Now what about fourth root, alright? Will I have the plus and minus again? Now let's check it out. Let's check it out again. So over here, x is equals to plus minus the fourth root of 81. Now if you work this out in your calculator, you should get plus minus 3 over here. Now let's work this out in your calculator again. If we were to check this one, to do positive 3, I raise it to the power of 4, indeed you will get 81, alright? Now what about negative 3, alright? You can put negative 3 in your calculator and everything you raise to the power of 4, you will find out you will get 81 as well, alright? Oh, in this case, when I fourth root it, the plus minus reappear back, alright? It reappear back. Now finally over here, alright, finally over here, the fifth root, what do you think will happen? Will I have the plus minus? Now let's check again. So again, if I were to solve this, this will be the fifth root of 1024, and I should have my plus and minus sign, and that should give me plus minus 4, okay? Alright, now let's assume this have plus minus again. Now let's check again if this is true or not. Alright, if this is true, the positive and negative answer, when we raise it to the power of 5, we should get back this one. Now we can quickly check. Positive 4, power of 5, indeed you will get 1204. That will be correct. However, if you check for the negative part, you will get negative 1204. So over here, we already found out that when we are taking the fifth root of this, the plus minus disappear again. Alright, it disappear again over here. Okay, there is only one answer, which is the positive answer only. That is the only value of x that will give you this answer. Now, as a conclusion here, what is the note that I can make over here? What is the summary? Right? There is a certain pattern I hope that you all can see by now. When you are square rooting a number, like I put a note over here, you add a plus minus. When you go to cube root, there's no more. Fourth root, it comes back. Fifth root, there's no more. So you can also make a guess. The sixth root, it will comes back. The seventh root, the plus minus, gone again. Alright? So what is the note or the conclusion that I can make from here? So this is going to be the main summary. So whenever, okay, you square root a particular number, alright, I'm just going to write in this form where you have a number inside here. You add, okay, you will be adding the plus minus sign when x is even number. This is the keyword over here. Okay? And then I can say you do not add. You do not add the plus minus when x is an odd number over here. So if you notice over here, like take a look back at this example, when I were to square root, okay, square root, although it's not written here, but you know that's going to be 2, all right? And that's an even number. So you're going to add the plus minus. Cube root, okay, this one is the third root, all right, over here. It's an odd number, so that's why there's no plus minus. 4, all right, the fourth root is an even number. Add plus minus. The fifth root is an odd number. You don't add the plus minus anymore. So this is going to be the plus minus, and this is when you are going to add the plus minus sign. And do take note that this only applies when we're talking about when I am interested to find out the value of x that can make the equation true. All right. Now do remember, when we are dealing with shapes like this one, you can ignore the plus minus sign because negative length does not exist. All right. I hope this will make you clear when to use the plus minus sign. Thank you.